Do you want that heart-pounding rumbling vibration feedback without spending hundreds on a Buttkicker? Well, today I'm going to show you a DIY Buttkicker killer. So if you've ever looked into adding tactile feedback to your gaming rig or sim racing seat, you've probably come across some Buttkicker products, or some bass shaker solutions from some other brands. And while in general these setups are very good, if you are on a budget, they might be a little bit out of your price range. A full setup can easily run you a couple €100. The solution? A pair of Dayton audio pucks mounted under the seat. They vibrate with low frequency sound, giving you that same punchy bass effect, but for a fraction of the price. I used 2 Dayton audio puck transducers, a 3D printed mount designed by Ramjet X, by the way the link is in the description, plus a small amp and some basic wiring. I should mention that my Next Level Racing GT Elite rig came with the Buttkicker pole in the box, and that's what this mount that I 3D printed is going to be attaching to today. I should also mention that even though I've used these bass shakers before attached to my seat, I did that using one of the Dayton audio pucks mounted to a piece of plywood under my seat. So I'm definitely looking forward to feeling the power of 2 as opposed to 1, and especially as it's going to be in a more streamlined package. So I suppose the first thing to do here really is assemble this Puckicker, so let's attach our audio puck to the mount. Now I only have 6 of these little screws, so I'm going to use 3 in each puck rather than 6 on each one, but they'll hold just fine with that. And even with 3 screws, you can see how solid this thing is. I cannot budge that in the mount at all. So that's a result, that's brilliant. That's what it looks like from the back. So let's take the second puck and put that in as well, have them back to back. I'll screw that in, and that will be our assembled Puckicker. And there we have it, both pucks are now mounted securely to the Puckicker, and it is very secure. And now I've got this clamp part of the mount to properly secure. To do that, it's an M8 size hole, so I'm going to put an M8 bolt through it. It is quite a tight fit, so for me at least, I'm going to screw it through the plastic, and I'll put a nut on the other side once it's mounted to the rig. So let's go do that now. Alright guys, so to mount this, the first thing we're going to have to do is gain access to the underside of this seat. So I'm going to tip that back now and we'll have a look. Alright guys, so here's the Buttkicker mount underneath. Here we've got our clamp, and let's just maneuver this onto that. There we go. As you can see, it's a really good fit. A very nice fit actually. So let's put our other bolt through here. Okay, back now with my ratchet. So, okay, and I'm gonna get a couple of nuts to put on top of this one and on the other side of this bolt. M8 nut on here. I've got a black one to go here. Okay, and that's it. There we go now, solid as a rock. So I printed this last night and it came out really well. We've got a bolt hole here on the back to mount to the rig. We have these little pieces to act as a guide in the aluminium profile. And I've already tried test fitting the amp in it. Watch how well it fits. That's just a lovely fit, and it's not going anywhere. It's just so secure. So I'm planning on mounting this right around here, just beside the Buttkicker itself, or Puckicker rather. Here we go, in with the T-nut. Push that down, maybe to around there. That's a lovely fit and it's really secure. That isn't my 3D model, but I'll leave a link for it down in the description. Let's plug our bass shakers into the amp, and then we'll put this in. And that's a really tidy little solution. I'll just, you know, secure these cables to keep them tidy and out of the way. But other than that, it's pretty much time just to give this amp some power and plug in the USB into the computer from it and put my seat back to the way I had it. So I'll do that and then I'll see you to test this thing out. Alright, so here we go guys. I've just powered up my computer. I'm really looking forward to testing this out. So I've just jumped into SimHub here. We're going to see first of all if the bass shakers are actually working, because I haven't used them in quite a while. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm online here and I'm going to download someone's profile for just a Buttkicker for SimHub and just import that. Okay guys, I just imported this SimHub profile, so we should now have bass shaker effects when I try this out. So let's go road impacts, test. Do you hear that? So seems to be working so far. Now this is just a random SimHub profile I picked up off the internet. I've no idea how good it is yet. I'll probably end up experimenting with it a bit and trying a few different profiles, but for now let's jump into a game and see what it feels like when driving. Okay, no shifter and handbrake, I forgot to put them on. So I'll put them on now and then we'll give it a go. Okay, Shifter and handbrake now installed. I'm going to jump into some drifting as that's my usual form of motorsport to play, and we're going to see if these things fire up in Assetto Corsa. They're already vibrating quite a bit. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but I assume that's engine RPM. So I think they're probably vibrating a bit too much just for engine RPM, but let's try kick it into a drift here, and I can feel like the traction loss, which is mad. I don't know if you can hear that and see it in correspondence with the drift that I'm doing, but it's like as I go more sideways and put more momentum into the drift, more power through the wheels, it's like I get more of the vibration effect, so it's a really progressive vibration. And let's see what happens if we just go into that. Lots of vibration. And now we're off-roading. Oh God, okay. All right, restart. But I'm gonna give another profile a shot and see what that's like, because I think that one's a bit heavy on the engine RPM. I could go in and fine adjust it, but I just want to see what other people have come up with already, because this is a pretty tried and true method, you know, having some bass shakers under your seat. So there should be plenty of profiles available. So I've just loaded up this second profile here. I don't know how good this one will be either, but you can see the effects that are enabled here. So we've got engine vibration, gear shift, road vibration, wheels lock and wheel slip, and you can see the percentage of gain that they're on, you know, how much output there'll be. If we compare that to the other profile I had just there, there's quite a difference in how they're set up. So I think your mileage would vary with this greatly depending on the profile. It's very important. But anyway, I'm going to try out this new one. Jump back into Assetto Corsa with this one and see how we do. So this one, I've just loaded in and I can feel the most subtle, the most tiny vibration coming up through the seat as the engine is running, which is quite a nice feeling. And then yeah, if I rev it, the amount of vibration is progressively getting higher. It's getting more intense. So far, I'm preferring this profile on that front. The other one was very heavy on the vibration just when you were idling, not even doing anything. So let's... Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Did you hear that? Look at that, each gear shift. Wow, okay. Right, that's a clunk and a half. Whoa, this one is intense. Right, so I'm in second gear here. Put the foot down. I'm feeling that effect coming through with the road. Higher engine RPM. I'm gonna kick it into a drift. And I'm pretty sure you should be able to hear that, because I can definitely hear that. It's actually coinciding quite nicely with the drift. It's very loud. I will say that, obnoxiously loud. We venture off-road a bit here. That's an awful lot of vibration. Too much vibration. I think this profile is better. I just need to dial back some of the outputs a little bit. Listen to this, right? So, on accelerator, off accelerator. Yeah, like if I just dial this back a little bit, this will be a pretty nice profile, I think. I will still try some other ones just because I'm intrigued now. I don't know how well you can hear me when that vibration is going on, because it's crazy loud. Because of Ramjet X's designs that he's uploaded, you don't even need to have a full sim rig, you know, you can just mount this to your office chair. So you could be getting this same level of haptic feedback just with one of these mounts clamped around the base of your seat, which is crazy. I just reached my hand under there, turn down the overall output on the amp, just on the volume knob. So that's a bit more of a nice level of vibration. I could probably even turn it down a touch more, but then some of the other effects might get a bit too faint. Yeah, I think for the money and what kind of goes into this setup, this DIY Puckicker setup, I think it's well worth it. And I think with some fine tuning of the profiles to get it to your liking and depending on the setup that you have, I think this would add a lot of immersion and a bit more life to your setup. in general. Despite their small size, these pucks really pack a surprising punch. The total cost? Around €40 for the pucks, probably about the same for the amp, and just a few euro in filament for the 3D print and the wiring. Altogether, it came in at under €100, which is considerably less than a traditional Buttkicker cost. Big thanks to Ramjet X for the 3D print design. Don't forget to check the description for the link if you want to print your own. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe for future videos, and let me know if you end up giving this solution a try.